Welcome to Iceland, everyone. Reykjavik Iceland, to be exact. Home to the world's only penis museum, heated sidewalks, and a punk museum that's housed in an old underground public toilet. Sounds fascinating, right? Well, maybe not those things, but we did two things here in Reykjavik that are going to blow your mind. Hi everyone, I'm Leslie and I travel the world looking for everything different, unique, and off the beaten path. In fact, I'm on a mission to get onto the Centurion list. That's 100 countries, and I most recently checked off country number 81. So I'm close. And with you, we will go see all the greatness this world has to offer. So let's talk about Reykjavik. Not only did we sail through this and directly in front of the northeasterly tip of Scotland with the Dunscansby Head Lighthouse. Look at this. This is another, if I'm ever missing, look for me here spot. These are massive, jagged sea stacks rising out of the ocean and are one of the most dramatic coastal sites in all of Scotland. I knew Scotland was on our bucket list, but after seeing this, I moved it right up to the top.
Oh my God, you guys, did you see that? Did you see that? Holy cow, look at that. That is 70,000 nautical miles we just passed right there. 70,000 nautical miles. That means we've got around the globe 3 times. Oh my God.
And 253 days on board the ultimate world cruise. We had several ways that we commemorated 70,000 miles today and a Category 1 hurricane, and these waves were only the beginning.
Into a Category 1 hurricane and wave heights of up to 8 to 10 meters. So it was exciting there for a while.
What a welcome. We're overnight here in Reykjavik, and that proved to be very impactful. So let me explain. Initially, I wanted to rent a car and do the circle tour. I was so looking forward to seeing the landscape, and doing this circle tour is the best way to do it. But we were a little concerned about renting a car and having enough time to do that and get back on board on time. So we booked a tour instead. So we're late getting into port, and although we notified the tour company and everyone on board is late, everyone booked a tour, and everyone is flooding out to the parking lot to get into their vans and buses to leave on their tours, our tour, our guide, our van left us in the parking lot. Yep. So it's funny because I took this video. Welcome to Iceland. It's crazy out here. And Roy was super pissed off because we were late and I was trying to film and run and talk and all of it at the same time. But they said that they would wait, and they didn't. They left us there, and no joke, I cried. I cried on the way back to the cruise ship. I just was so disappointed because, of course, at this point, there's no rebooking anything else. It just added insult to injury because everyone else's tour waited for them. There were still probably a good 40 vans and buses in the parking lot, even as we were searching for ours. So it wasn't like we were the last ones out there. So we head back on board and we're gonna try to regroup and figure out what our plan is. Remember, we're here overnight. So for the second day, I had booked the Sky Lagoon geothermal spa. So on a wing and a prayer, I reached out to them and asked them if we could switch our lagoon day to the first day. And thankfully, they said no problem. So we jumped in a cab and headed our way to the Sky Lagoon. And I'm happy again. You cannot go to Iceland without going to a geothermal spa. The most famous one that you've probably heard of is the Blue Lagoon. But the Sky Lagoon is another option, and it helps to avoid all the crowds. The Blue Lagoon can get very crowded. And for us, this proved to be a much better and honestly cheaper option. It's only about a 5-mile cab ride, which is about $30 US and about 30 minutes. It turned out to be 15 minutes in our case.
It's only from the grace of God we didn't die in that cab.
But we made it and we're alive. Both the Blue Lagoon and the Sky Lagoon are geothermals, and they're man-made, with the Sky Lagoon water being tapped via deep boreholes that access naturally heated groundwater. This geothermal water is then piped into the lagoon, keeping it at a steady 100 to 104 degree Fahrenheit temperature. Our lagoon experience includes a negative edge pool, swim-up bar,
It's freezing cold, but we're toasty warm. It is beautiful. Thank you, Iceland. Wonky start and a beautiful day.
and a 7-step bathing ritual inspired by Icelandic traditions. So hear me out here. First of all, Roy's not a huge spa guy, and to hear a 7-step bathing ritual, he's like, whoa, wait a minute. But this was so super cool. The Sky Lagoon is cool in and of itself. You don't have to do this whole experience, but we absolutely loved it. So once you walk out of the locker room, you are walking directly into the lagoon, and then the ritual includes a cold plunge, a sauna experience that is out of this world, a cold mist, body scrub, the steam room, and then the shower. We even had an added meal and drinks. All of this experience here today in the Sky Lagoon definitely eased the blow of getting left behind on our tour this morning. We had such an incredible day here, and I cannot recommend the Sky Lagoon high enough. Just so cool. We decided to have our cab drop us off in the city center of Reykjavik on our way back. Since we had time, and given how small the city is, they describe it as delightfully tiny. You can actually walk the entire city of Reykjavik in about 30 minutes. So we figured we'd see it while we were here and take day 2 as our down day just on board, since it would probably be a quiet, what we would call sea day for us. So before we talk about what Reykjavik has, let's talk about what Reykjavik doesn't have. There's no McDonald's, and there's no bugs. Like, no bugs. Being from America, it's hard to imagine no McDonald's, and certainly hard to imagine no bugs. But once I show you Reykjavik, it might make more sense. McDonald's just doesn't fit in, and the climate here doesn't support mosquitoes, snakes, or any other reptiles. There are a few spiders, but nothing harmful to humans. And let's be honest, remember, Iceland is all about nature. So listen, if there's a few spiders here, it can handle that. If there's no snakes, we live in Arizona, think rattlers. There's no mosquitoes. I am a buffet for mosquitoes. And no other reptiles. Yeah, we have Gila monsters, lizards, snakes, tarantulas, scorpions. Yeah, Iceland, you got my vote. We can't visit Reykjavik without visiting its most iconic landmarks. This is Hallgrimskirkja. It's not just a church, it's a national monument, a visual compass, and a must-see for anyone exploring Reykjavik. Its towering 244-foot height makes it the tallest church in Iceland. Construction began on it in 1945 and spanned over 4 decades to be completed in 1986. It was inspired by Iceland's basalt lava flows and boasts a 15-meter tall, 25-ton, 5,275 pipe organ. It's so cool. and it's free. And if you watch my videos, you know I have a thing about paying to get into churches. And so we were super happy to be able to get into this one and see it for free. It is a beacon in the city and one you definitely don't want to miss. There is a small fee to take the elevator up to the tower for a panoramic view, but don't miss the Leif Erikson statue out front. It was gifted by the United States in 1930 to commemorate the 1000th anniversary of Iceland's parliament. We have a goofy walk around the little city center and of course a pub. We can't miss an Icelandic pub. And we really wanted to go to the punk rock museum that's housed in an old public toilet. But of course the, ish hours that apparently meant not right now because it was closed. We were so bummed. Roy's a huge punk music fan. So let's talk about the sidewalks. The sidewalks are heated. The same geothermal waters that we enjoyed at the Sky Lagoon also heat the sidewalks here. Yes, they have heated sidewalks. This helps prevent the ice and snow buildup and is brilliant. We see the Sun Voyager sculpture on our way back in the cab. It was unveiled to commemorate Reykjavik's 200th anniversary in 1990 and has panoramic views of the mountain and the bay. Did you know that Reykjavik's name means Smoky Bay? Of course it's called Smoky Bay. There's 30 active volcanoes within reach of Reykjavik, except that's not why they call it Smoky Bay. The name actually comes from the steam that's rising off the geothermal vents. When the Norse settlers first arrived, they thought the land was literally smoking, but it was just the natural heat of the earth escaping and the steam they saw. So speaking of volcanoes, look at this. Yep, this one erupted as we were leaving Reykjavik. This eruption was part of the ongoing Snooker eruption series, marking the 6th eruption in this sequence. It had a 5-kilometer reach lava flow that peaked at 2,000 cubic meters per second. And this eruption alone lasted another 13 days after we left. So the Blue Lagoon was actually evacuated. And when the passengers got back on board, many of them got taxis and drove out to the eruption site to see the lava flow and see the eruption. Not recommended, but the pictures they had were super cool. What a fantastical way to say goodbye to Reykjavik, right? They say you should always have a reason to go back everywhere you visit. I'm excited to go back and actually do the circle tour, and we'll rent the car this time. So until next time with Iceland, we say goodbye and hello to Greenland. But before we get to Greenland, I would love to hear what you thought of the video today. What did you think of Reykjavik? Have you been to Reykjavik? Have you been to Iceland? And have you done the circle tour? Now be gentle, don't rave about it because I'm just so jealous if you've done it. Please put your comments below. I love hearing your stories and sharing the experience with you. Be sure to subscribe because you do not want to miss our sail in to Greenland. Now, we have been to Antarctica, the Chilean fjords. We sailed through the Swedish archipelago and the Norwegian fjords. Go back and watch those videos if you haven't watched them. Amazing. So I'm wondering, if my research proves anything, this is going to be one amazing sail in to our first stop in Greenland in Qaqortoq. Into Qaqortoq. So don't forget to subscribe and tell all your friends how much you love spending time with me and encourage them to subscribe. Until Qaqortoq, bye for now.